Hi, guys. Welcome to Twin Perspective. I'm Joe, and today I'm going to be presenting another episode of the albums you should own. And tonight I'll be talking about from 1989 Jane's Addiction's Nothing's Shocking. Now, I'm not a fan of hard music typically, anything that's metal-ish. Growing up, I was into alternative and new wave and the really hard bands, hair bands, metal bands. Eventually, that speed metal and even grunge to an extent. It was all just kind of heavy and not really my cup of tea. I'm more of a light music kind of guy. But there are times in your life when you get frustrated and something heavy and hard is exactly what you need. And Jane's Addiction was one of the only bands that I thought were heavy as heavy needed to be. But they also presented some lighter tunes. And I guess they caught me at the right time in 1989, 1988. I really started listening to the album in 89. So that was 17 going on 18. And it was a beautiful thing. The first song I heard from the album was Mountain Song. I kind of dismissed it. I thought it was just another heavy metal band doing a heavy metal song. Never even tried to invest myself to listen to it. They had a live album previous to this album, and that live album was really good. And I remember a friend of mine had that, and Jane Says is on that, and along with Pigs and Zen. And, there are a few other songs on that live album I liked. 1%. And I would for you. Those are great. Says was like to me a classic. It's like this is great. This is I hoped it wasn't a heavy metal band just kind of venturing into an acoustic sounding type song, but they would have others. The live album's pretty heavy, and my favorites, obviously, the lighter ones. But I noticed Jane Says was also on Nothing Shocking, and I decided to give it a listen. And the first time I listened, I thought the first three tracks were, pretty heavy metal on the heavy side kind of thing. I like the first one. It opens with Up the Beach, and it's kind of quick and to the point, almost instrumental, just a few words, and then that's it. It's interesting, though. It makes a statement. I really like it. The next song, Ocean Size, kind of neat. I like the structure of it, but it still, to me, felt just like a heavy metal band doing a heavy song. The third song, Had a Dad. Lyrically, it's great. It's a classic for me. Um, Good message, and still, though, it felt like a really heavy band doing some decent songs. At this point, they wouldn't be one of my favorite bands. But then the rest of the album happens to me, which is like puts them a step above. So the fourth track is Ted Just Admit It, and that one, for as hard as it gets at a point, heavy. There's some nice highlights. I love the beginning drums by itself. It's not a straight percussion layout. It's interesting. He's doing some different little fills, and it leads into this nice groove with the bass. Guitars just highlighting different notes, and Harry Farrell with the singing, and Ted just admitted it's kind of like a progressive rock kind of song for this band. There's different segments to it, and yeah, at that point I was like, this band's different. These guys are pretty good. That one's one of my favorites that they've ever done. The next song on the album is "Standing in the Shower Thinking," and that's that's great right there. That kind of sound, that kind of song, is the kind of Jane's Addiction song that's really not leaning heavy metal as much as it is leaning just alternative rock. And, a little bit of a lighter side. Standing in the Shower Thinking is pretty heavy though, but it's just funky. There's a funkiness to it, and it stands out. Really fun to dance to too. The next song, number 6, "Summertime Rolls." That's my favorite song they've ever done. That song's perfect. It's impeccable. It's beautiful, and it is on the slower side. It's kind of open and moody for a while. It gets hard toward the 3/4 point, and then just excellently produced. This whole album, in my opinion, is produced very well. I forget the guy's name that produced it. He also did work with Brian Eno and David Byrne. There's an ambient feel to it. A lot of delay effects on Perry Farrell's voice in the different tracks. Dave Navarro's guitars, I find they're really powerful at points when they need to be, and it's kind of a little lighter and in the background, even though it's a heavy sound. I like the production in this a lot. Eric Avery was the bass player at the time, and he wrote a lot of the better songs on this album, in my opinion. Stephen Perkins was the drummer. Ted just admitted, "Standing in the Shower Thinking," "Summertime Rolls," that's like 3 of the best songs they've ever done. Right there, smack dab in the middle of the album. To me, that's what makes this album a must-have. That's what really powers this album to me. Those 3 tracks are the originality and the diversity. The 7th track is "Mountain Song." That was a song they did earlier in their career for a movie, and they re-recorded it for this album. I think Perry Farrell sung it at a high register to make it consistent with the album. Like I said, that was the first song I'd heard from this album, and I wasn't so much a fan of it, but it grows on you. It grew on me. I really like it. Number 8, "Idiots Rule." That one's different. Message perfect. Crazy trumpet in it. The trumpet's played by Flea, the bass player from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Number 9 is "Jane Says," the classic, and they redid it, and I like this version better. They have this steel pan in it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a classic to me. "Jane Says" is the standard. Number 10, "Thank You Boys," is one of those things where, I don't know, it's like a wine bar jazz kind of quick little thing, and instrumental, sounds nothing like anything they've played. It's one of those, oh, they can do that too. Okay, really quick. And the album ends with "Pigs and Zen," the remake from the live album. That song's pretty relevant now in these days. All in all, a classic album. I think their follow-up major studio album, what is it called? That's just unacceptable. "Ritual de lo Habitual." That album is on par with this one. I think "Ritual de lo Habitual" is also a must-have and a must-listen, but if I have to pick between the two, I do go with "Nothing Shocking." I've had very many religious moment listening to "Nothing's Shocking," And if you're a fan of music, I think this kind of heavy music is a wonderful thing. I think you can appreciate it. I think anyone on the metal side can appreciate it. I think anyone on the heavy alternative side can appreciate it. Harry Farrell is one of my favorite lyricists of all time. His voice is very unique with the delay effect on it most of the time. And Dave Navarro's an excellent guitarist. He can shred, and I think the songs are really interesting. And the bass and drums kind of make it more of an alternative thing for me, especially Avery's bass lines. So a lot of them are kind of similar, but at the same time, so melodic. Not unlike The Cure, in my opinion, these bass lines. Of course, the whole package is pretty heavy. And anytime I'm in an aggravated mood, I can put on Jane's Addiction and just feel fucking great about everything. So there you go. That's my breakdown. One of the albums you should own, Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking, 1988. Thanks for watching. This has been Twin Perspective. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. I'll be continuing this series, and I'll see you in the trees. Bye.